Hi everyone, welcome to WildCare's Courtyard. I know with our sheltering in place, you can't come visit us, so we thought we would come and visit you. I'm here with Mojave, who is looking very sleepy, and also Melissa Toffamoy, our Ambassador Program Manager. What's going on today, Melissa?
Well, I'm here to talk about Mojave, and Mojave is a Mojave Desert Tortoise. He's one of our resident non-releasable wildlife that we care for here at WildCare. He's also the state reptile of California.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And we actually also have a quail as well, a California quail. So Mojave is enjoying the sun right now because he is a reptile, and reptiles are cold-blooded, which means that they cannot generate their own heat. So the way that they generate heat so they can warm themselves up and move around is they come out and they hang out in the sun. We'll start off his first really noticeable feature here is, of course, the shell. I get a lot of questions if the rings on the shell tell his age, and that is not true. Why it would be true of a tree, it is not true of this desert tortoise. Mojave here is 67 years old.
67? That puts him in the prime demographic for coronavirus.
He does.
Fortunately, tortoises don't get it.
He came to us in 2003, and the reason that we have him is he was found wandering the streets of Mendocino, which is really far from where he should be in the Mojave Desert. So we think he's probably somebody's pet.
Okay, recording. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think we're live again. Sorry, everybody. You lost me. I lost you briefly. Okay.
So, found in Mendocino. And the reason he can't go back into the wild is, one, we don't know where in the Mojave Desert he was taken from.
Right.
So, big desert, have no idea where his habitat would originally have been. And also, because he has stayed with humans, he can take viruses or pathogens that we have and bring that back out into the wild population here. You can tell he's starting to wake up a little bit here. A wonderful thing about his shell, or one really neat thing I want to show everybody, is that his spine is actually fused into his shell. So when we touch Mojave, he can feel that.
I heard someone say one time it was like the back of your fingernail. Is that?
Yeah. His shell, he can't actually come out of the shell like in a cartoon. His shell is his house. And the reason we also know that Mojave is a male because of this horn right here. It's called a gular horn. And what the males do is, in the wild, the way that they compete for territory or mates is they fight with those two horns, hopefully tipping the other one over.
Can they get back up if they've tipped over?
Yes, they can. But when they're turned over, they are very vulnerable to any predator that could come upon them, or I guess if it's an extended long time, starvation and dehydration.
Right.
So his adaptations. So you notice that his legs here are like shovels. And the reason they're shaped like that is because desert tortoises spend most of their time in burrows. They dig these really deep burrows in the desert. They spend about 80, maybe 90% in the burrows. And they share their burrows with other mammals and reptiles found in the desert. He is a herbivore, meaning that he likes to eat plants and flowers. In the Mojave Desert, he could eat 43 different types of plants and flowers, but obviously we don't have access to here at WildCare. This is typically a diet that he'll eat.
Typically a diet that our volunteers prepare for Mojave. Can we tell you how much we miss our volunteers?
Yes.
It's just unbelievable. We're thinking about all of you guys. So tell us what we're eating here, Melissa.
So he's got broccoli, cucumbers, endive, romaine lettuce, and some green beans here. And, of course, his favorite, which is watermelon, which is probably what he is smelling right now. So we're going to see if he would like some.
So my favorite thing in Mojave is his pink tongue. Let's see if we get it. Oh, yeah, we got a little look.
And he obviously eats more during the warmer time of the year than he does in the colder times. They do brumate or hibernate during those times to conserve energy. Fun fact about desert tortoises is that obviously living in the desert, there's not a lot of water, so they can hold their urine for up to a whole entire year.
Whoa.
Yes, very, very amazing.
Even when he's getting watermelon?
Even when he's getting watermelon. which is one of the reasons that we give it to him. Plus, he really likes it. So
You can tell. What does he think of cucumber? Yes.
Cucumber. There you go. He can eat on his own, but we like to hand feed him.
So everybody that's watching today, we know how much you miss our animals, and we miss you too. And so we're going to be planning on every weekday doing a presentation like this with amazing information coming from Melissa and a good close-up, perhaps not as close to everybody as we get as we are to Mojave here, but a good close-up on our wildlife ambassadors, so you can visit virtually.
Now, an interesting medical situation that happened to Mojave this last year is that he actually got 2 bladder stones. Okay, so we have a picture here of the anatomy, and there's a bladder right there.
Okay.
Oh. And he got 2 stones, and I actually have one of the stones that they removed. Thanks to UC Davis. You can see that's quite a very large size. Yeah. That's one of 2. The other one was the same size. They dissected it, doing with hydration. So Mojave takes a bath every single day.
And what does the bath do for him? Sorry, everybody.
Bath hydrates him and warms him up as well, because his bath temperature is usually about 95 degrees. So it's a good way to warm him up so we can get him to start eating. And also because he had a surgery, we want to keep him really active so that his immune systems are working.
Right.
Because he was immune compromised, as anybody would be when you have a surgery. He's about 13 pounds. They can get bigger than this. They reach maturity to start their own families at about 15 to 20 years old. And once they do that, they go out in their territory, obviously competing, searching for a mate. The female can lay anywhere from 4 to 8 eggs 3 times a year, and that's dependent on the climate. So the warmer or colder the climate is how many times that they will lay eggs. So the Mojave desert tortoise is a threatened species. The reason they are threatened is habitat fragmentation. Obviously, as we're moving in and we're building into their territories, we're also bringing with us a lot of predators that they're not used to, like crows. Crows and ravens will predate on these small little baby tortoises. Yeah, and they're about the size of a ping pong ball.
Oh, wow.
The female will stay around the eggs for a little time, protecting them, but once they hatch, she leaves them and they are on their own. And those are usually hatching if they have, if they have one brood or one group of them in August and September.
Oh, okay.
Is when they are hatching and going on their own. They'll usually lay their eggs in June and July. And that incubation period is, again, dependent on temperature.
Interesting.
So climate change really affects them.
Yeah.
It also determines the gender of the tortoise as well.
Really?
So too hot, too cold, too many females, too many males affects their population.
Well, let's see what he thinks of Endive here.
Let's see.
He's like, yeah.
And he's like, no, it's not the favorite.
Oh, sorry.
Bring out the favorite.
Spread my leg out here.
Broccoli he loves.
He does. Now, does he have to be careful with broccoli because of his propensity for kidney stones?
Yep. So he is on a strict diet, and he gets these as treats. So he is very picky.
You're telling me broccoli is a treat if you're a tortoise.
Broccoli is a treat if you were a tortoise.
Kids, take note.
We do have some seeds that we got that we're going to start growing for him to do some foraging.
Oh, that's fun.
He's like, yeah, no, I don't do the lettuce. Okay, we'll do the broccoli, buddy.
He does like his green beans, doesn't he?
He does. And he has a beak, so he has no teeth, but he has a beak.
Oh, yeah. I saw he grabbed your finger by accident briefly
and
there. Did it hurt? Okay.
Yeah. He's got great on squeezing that there.
I bet. You can tell he has a strong jaw.
Yeah, but for an older tortoise, he sure moves around.
Sure does. Is 67 old for a desert tortoise?
Well, they can live up to be 80.
Okay, so he's...
And I'm sure there's always that, one in the wild that's all the way up to 100. You never know.
Sure.
But he's been educating kids since 2003. Now, here's interesting about the pyramiding here on the shell. It can do with diet, but also with humidity is what I've read. So when you see desert tortoises in the wild, it's a very nice round shell, right? But the ones that are in captivity will have some of this doming here. And well, what I've read is that because it's so humid in their burrows and they're spending 80 to 90% in their burrows, it actually affects the shell.
Oh,
So that's why he looks a little different than a regular desert tortoise that you find out in the wild. I get a lot of questions is what's the population? They're threatened. The problem with trying to get an accurate read on these guys is because they do spend so much time in their burrows and the desert is so huge.
Right.
And it's hard to have enough people or funding to do a comprehensive study on them. And of course, if you're a reptile, you either have 4 legs or no legs. We have his 4 little legs here. He has dry, scaly skin. Okay. Very strong guy, though. He's just wonderful here. He's, I say that Mojave's famous here, whereas Vlad is infamous.
Vladimir's still visiting us.
Vladimir's-
So let's pan back a little bit. And Vladimir is very interested in what's happening down here with the desert tortoise. He says, someone is paying attention to someone who is not me.
Yes. So what we found here is that Vlad is very interested in Mojave. He really comes down here when he comes out and is walking around the courtyard getting his exercise. He's just fascinated with them. And we do this every day. He gets a lot of exercise. His territory in the wild can be rather large, and they're not too fast. Another threat to them when we talk about habitat fragmentation, of course, there are roads.
Yeah.
Roads out in the desert, you're traveling at 75 miles an hour, hopefully, if you're doing the speed limit. But obviously, the slow guy here is going to take his time getting across the road.
Yep.
So that happens to him, too. But yeah, he's pretty famous. When he went up to UC Davis, they were like, Mojave!
His reputation preceded him.
He did, and I got to spend a great deal of time with him when he got his surgery as well. So he's got quite a personality, just like they all do here. With everything that's going on, why the world is changing, our obligation and responsibility and commitment does not. So we're here every day taking care of all these wild animals and making sure that what they need, because they absolutely have no idea what's going on outside here in the world, nor would they. But so it's very important that we keep a routine, we focus on them.
Yep. Well, he looks like he's doing great. Everybody, we're gonna finish up our live stream here. Be sure and join us again tomorrow for a 2:00 live stream with Melissa. We'll have another animal at that time. We have, as you know, so many of our wonderful wildlife ambassadors. Now, let me remember.
Most like, I'll finish my lunch. Oh, see, now he's moving.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.